translate to a good life for me, and it's not the best use of your money. So in 2011, Tariana Turia was Minister for Disability Issues and also Minister for Whānau Ora. And so she said to the community, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. And so a group of disabled people, families and others working in the sector went away and wrote what we now call the Enabling Good Lives Report. And it was basically saying, we're not going to tell you how to run disability services, but we're going to give you some principles to go by, and if you follow the principles, you'll be on the right track. And the principles talk about things like disabled people and their families being in control of their own lives, and the support that's offered should be enhance the mana and the status of who that person is. And this one might make you laugh, that support and services should be easy to access and flexible to use. And one of the other things that came out of this report was the need for an independent ally. And so the team that you're here to meet today, we've got a few different members of the team, but the Connector Kai Tūhono role is the idea is that it's an independent person to walk alongside your family, get to know that young person and your whānau, and help you think about what a really good life could look like. And so the person's not connected to funding, they're not connected to services, they're not connected to schools, they're just there to ally and help you think about your young person. So we might do a quick whip around and get the team to introduce themselves now, and if you're not pictured up here, you might want to say very briefly what your role is as well. So shall we start, Tom?
Hi, my name is Tom. I recently started therapy 4 weeks ago. Hope so.
If you want to learn more from Tom, you're going to have to chat to him later. Ewa, do you want to?
Good day, everybody. My name is Susan and October last year.
Awesome. And Francis?
Kia ora koutou everybody. I'm Francis, originally from the East Coast of North Island. Like Tom, on day, on counting, this is day 13 for me, so it's, I'm really lucky to have that number. Very much a privilege.
Awesome. And Gordon?
Kia ora, my name is Gordon. Also relatively new, started here in November last year, alongside a couple of the other fellas over there. Christchurch, born and bred, myself, my wife and our West Staffy live hop, step and a jump over in Bromley.
And you'll see this very handsome man here, Greg. He's running late this morning and because he's had some other stuff on, but if Greg turns up later, you may all mob him with questions because you'll definitely want to meet Greg. And Tara.
Morning, everyone. I'm Tara, the girl in the yellow dress. I'm from the US and moved here about 10 years ago, and I'm over in the Parklands area. Yeah, come have a chat.
Awesome. And we have, most of you will have met Jackson on the way in.
I'm Jackson. I am new as Gordon mentioned here. I'm a connector support, so if there's a lot of information coming your way today and you get confused as to who to talk to about what, come and find me and I'll put you in the right direction.
Awesome, thanks. And Andrew?
I'm Andrew. Also started Jackson Gordon. I am a bit different from the rest. I am a budget advisor. So I deal with the budget money flow from the ministries and your postal budgets. If you have any money related questions, then you can come see me about it.
Cool. Really embarrassing question to ask. Did I miss anyone from my team? No, good. You will have heard that many of the members in the team are reasonably new. We have been operating since, the Enabling Good Lives approach has been available in Christchurch to all school leavers since 2013, and and so we have other members of the team who have had the Saturday morning off. They're connectors but are working at capacity because we try and keep the number of families that the team work with limited so that they can really spend the time that is required to get to know young people and get to know their families. Oh my goodness, it's amazing that Alice just turned up. She features on the next slide. So I said we've been operating since, available in the community since 2013. So I thought a good way of showing what it is we do is to share some stories about young people. And I'm really grateful to the families and the young people that have shared their photos and their stories with me. I put out a shout out on Facebook I think it was last year, just saying, hey, I want to share some stories, and I was inundated with photos and videos and tales of what people were doing with their lives. So I'll just really briefly go through. This is Gypsy, and Gypsy loves music and loves performing, and so he has a support worker who is a musician, so that's who they advertise for, and they spend their time busking and making music together. I don't want to tell a story on behalf of Lorraine and Ella.
We must. Kia ora, my apologies to me. Chicken jumped in the van and I didn't know it was there.
Oh!
So I get to take the chicken. So this is Ella. Ella's 23, and Ella likes. We used to go to a place down in New Brighton where you put these glasses on and you're under the water, so you can pick lots of different things. So technology is something that we look at Ella to connect her to her peers from high school, or actually friends going all the way back. I mean, that for us, I think, is the medium that kids who are age use. And so just keeping in mind how old our kids are and how they're connecting to each other. And because Facebook and all those things, they can be scary and our kids can be vulnerable, but on the whole, I think for them, for her peers from the past to see how she's doing now, it not only connects them, but it makes them realise that she can do things with them and they can tag into her, and so they still keep in touch and they still come visit. Whereas in the past, when she was quite young, they would just disappear and we had no way of seeing how they're doing and how Ella's doing. So every day, part of her support worker's role is to get onto Facebook, show what Ella's doing, and to answer her emails.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. I might have followed that, but this is Lillian. And Lillian sent me some photos and I said, oh, could I have some words? And she said, oh yeah, I went to Wellington and to compete in her sport, and my friend came with me as my support worker, and I thought, oh, okay. And then she finished the email with going, can't write too much, uni's really busy, gotta go. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's, so Lillian doesn't even see what Enabling Good Lives can offer because she's so busy living her life, and I think that's really, that's a testament, I believe. This is Michaela. Michaela, as you can see, is a very wonderfully creative young woman, and but often not well, and so some of the things that were on offer in the community weren't available for her because we didn't know day to day if she'd be well enough to get up and leave the house. And so the connector working with her suggested that they employ a support worker who was an artist, and so they would go together, and on days that she was well enough to leave, they might go and engage in the community and with some like-minded people. Otherwise they would sit and do as much or as little as Michaela could manage, and now she produces beautiful cards that I spend a fortune on each year, and her support worker feels like she's committing fraud because she has this job where she gets to go and hang out with a really cool young woman and, you know, do her hobby. So that's pretty cool. Got 4 more stories? Yes, please, Hannah. So we have Claudia, and Claudia also has love of music, and so spends some of her EGL personal budget, which Andrew's going to touch on briefly,